Daryl Morey here on the Rich Eisen Show again. How are you, Daryl?
Morning, Rich. I'm good. You got to enjoy these times because sports can get tough, as you know pretty well.
I bet. And obviously the beginning of the season was exactly that. But before we wind the clock back a little bit here, where were you watching the game? Are you in the stands for something like this, Daryl? Last night?
I was there for that one. I'm still processing what I saw live. It was pretty amazing. I couldn't actually watch that last shot from Durant. I just watched the crowd reaction because, at that point you should hopefully win if there's only a second left. But I've watched a lot of basketball, so that shot often goes in, even with just a second left.
So let's put a little bit more meat on your statement last night. Best offensive player of all time, James Harden. You have the floor, Daryl.
Yeah, he's just extremely unique if you factor in just the overall offensive package. If you look at the volume of offense, of the shots that he takes for a team at an efficient level, I think that's the key. So those two things, plus, others have done that as well. But then you add in the fact that his passing is at a level that's in the top 10 to 20 in NBA history. And the offense that's produced through that is super efficient. So if you look at overall points produced by a player, either through his efficient offense or his passes that lead to efficient offense, and you're right there. And I think the evidence is, we were the best offense in the league last year. I think we're back to best in the league this year. So a lot of times when other players who have big offensive explosions, they're not on the best offense in the league as a team, and James has been leading the top offense since he's been in the league. So you factor all that in, there really is. He's extremely unique. Obviously, there's been amazing players in NBA history, but if you just look at it through that lens, you could say he's number one.
So do you think, Daryl Morey, and you have been very open over the last couple of years, that you know you have to beat Golden State. You know you have to beat them by building a team specifically targeted in that respect. Last year, you were up on them in a 7-game series. Unfortunately, Chris Paul couldn't stay healthy for the rest of it. But that happened last year, and now you just went into their house, minus Paul, minus Gordon, and came up with a win. Do you think you have reached equivalency with Golden State, Daryl?
Not really. I mean, I wish I could say that. I would say, they're the champs. They've been the best team for 4 years, and not just the best team, the best team by a good margin. We do feel like that we are right there, though, that we're, I guess a worthy challenger. We've got the pieces to hopefully knock them off, but I wish I could say we're better than a team that should have 4 titles in the last 4 years, but you got to prove that on the court.
Well, I mean, last night you sure did. This doesn't look, obviously, I know I'm stating the obvious, like the team that started the season. Was there a moment when you saw it all click?
Yeah, we've been confident all year. We looked really sort of people thought we were just naive, I guess, early because we did start slow, and people, I think, appropriately were questioning maybe is it all going to work, things like that. But we historically we do struggle early. Our goal, just myself, Coach D'Antoni, our goal is to peak in April and through the playoffs, and we try to continue to work on the team as you go throughout the year. And if you're going to struggle, you want to struggle early and sort of build going forward, add players, either through trade or free agency through the year. And I think too many teams try to set everything up before the season when the reality is in the NBA, as you know all too well, you've got to be peaking in April, not in October.
So when you see James Harden, do you acknowledge how red hot he is, or is it just kind of like Fight Club? You don't want to talk about it? I mean, what is it? What is the attitude?
It's like a perfect game or something. You don't say it.
Yeah.
No, I don't even know what to say. Frankly, when I see him, we obviously know each other well. I usually just give him sort of a knowing look, and he gives me one back. I mean, I know it sounds crazy, but he's a pretty quiet guy, and so there's not a ton of words. And he knows he's on a crazy run, and but he knows he's got bigger goals as well. So he's enjoying the ride just like we are, and hopefully we can keep this roll going as long as possible, and then get Chris Paul back, Eric Gordon back, a lot of our key pieces back, and again try and peak in April through the playoffs.
When do you expect them back, Daryl?
Yeah, Eric should be sooner. There's no exact timetable for either, but I think Eric will be earlier than Chris. But both had injuries that are going to keep them out for extended games.
Daryl Morey, Rockets general manager here on the Rich Eisen Show. Trade deadline just a little over a month away. Are you guys looking to make a move? I understand that you're always going to improve your team, et cetera, if you have the opportunity. But is that a goal here for you?
Yeah, I think we're for now, right? We're in peak James Harden, as people see, and Chris Paul obviously still playing at a high level, but a little bit older. Our goal is to win now, so for sure we're always trying to trade off some of our future to help us win now.
Okay. And then are you hoping that Harden just blurts out the names of players that you'd like to acquire because it would be awesome and cool to play with as teammates, Daryl?
Yeah, with our superstars, I think this has been a big part of our success. We recognize, people want to say, great things about our front office or coaching staff, and that's always appreciated. But I think the one thing we know is that this is really about James Harden, Chris Paul, and our star-level players. And really, it's a humbling thing that, they're both playing at such a high level, and obviously, especially James right now, that, we feel a responsibility, to their career. And, so we're constantly focused on how can we, help them win.
So when LeBron did say
I missed your question, actually. So back to that. So there's a constant dialogue with them about potential players who can maybe come in and help. It's a partnership with our players, and we would never bring someone in that we didn't think was a great fit, and everyone didn't think was a great fit. Our chemistry is too important for that.
So when LeBron said publicly, obviously it would be amazing if Anthony Davis came here to the Lakers. Are you one of the others in the league in management in positions like general manager who thought that is technically tampering, Daryl?
Well, I can't specifically talk about what he said, but I personally am not a fan of the tampering rules overall, just because they're selectively applied, and I'm sort of a free speech guy, so we follow the rules as the league gives us, and that's an important. We do that, but I personally don't. I just don't like rules that are applied in one instance and not others, and things like that.
What do you mean? What do you mean by that?
I just think it's very hard to enforce.
What do you mean by that?
I think people just say, I would never be worried about another team saying something about how they want to acquire James Harden. That wouldn't worry me at all. If a player, because he hears another player on another team say his name, or another person on another team say his name, suddenly goes, oh yeah, I've always been dreaming of living, but I wouldn't have leaving this team. I hadn't thought of it till now. To me, the rules don't make a whole lot of sense. So I would just, it's up to the commissioner what he wants to do, but I would not have the tampering rules.
Okay, so you had no problem with one superstar just blurting out the name of another superstar he would like to play with, knowing that superstar definitely has sway within the front office, one would think. You don't have a problem with that?
I can only comment on our team,
Sure.
So I would not have an issue if another team or player on another team said something about James Harden or Chris Paul. It wouldn't bother me at all. I think we're putting together a great situation for them, and if it's a bad situation, then that's one thing. But we're very confident that our top players like being in Houston.
All right, Daryl Morey, a couple more minutes left with the Rockets general manager heading to Portland. Are you there now? Are you heading there today? Is that the scoop right now?
Yeah, we went to Portland last night.
Okay, so you're already there in the beautiful state of Oregon. So what metric that you place the most importance on do you think your team is clicking on all cylinders with right now? That you as a general manager say, okay, when I put this team together, I'm hoping to see this result because I know that's what this my philosophy is or formula might be. What are you clicking on the most right
Well,
now, Daryl?
yeah, for sure. I would just say, obviously, offense. I mean, it's a little obvious, but yeah, we've been the number one offense by a huge margin for a while now, since our slow start. And then, more importantly, is we feel confident with James Harden and Chris that we're going to have, and Eric and Clint Capella, we're going to have a top offense. More importantly, is our defense started real slow, and we've been ticking that up steadily, and we need to get that in the top 10 for sure. We're not quite there yet. And then last year we were rolling in the top 5, which is what we'll probably need to do if we're going to win the title in April and beyond.
All right, Daryl. Where are you going to watch the wild card game between the Texans and the Colts? Where are you watching that?
That's a very good question. I think our training staff is setting up a watch party, so I think we may do that.
Okay. You and the whole team, are you guys all going to be together, or what does that watch party look like?
Well, I think it's not it's an optional thing. So yeah, it'll probably be a bunch of the staff. So.
Well, you're not going to fine Harden because he's not watching the first half of the wild card game with you, right?
I think we will rarely find Harden. If anything, we're trying to figure out how to give him a bonus. But,
is that what the knowing look means from him to you, Daryl? Is that part of the knowing look?
No, we can't do that. He's already making the most in the league, so unfortunately, there's no way to get him more. But we for sure are not figuring out ways to find him.
I'll tell you, it really is amazing. And I'm just a fan. I can't imagine being emotionally invested because it's a job and you putting it all together, what it must feel like to watch him on such a roll right now, Daryl. It's amazing.
Yeah, no, it's one of those things you're gonna be talking to your grandkids later and saying, hey, I was there for that game. So yeah, it's pretty special. It's cool.
Daryl, thanks for the call. Let's chat down the line. I know you're going to be here in Los Angeles in February. We'd love to have you here in person. Always enjoy our chats.
I appreciate that. Yeah, no, let's do that. That sounds fun.
Fantastic.
Thanks for the opportunity. Appreciate it.
Always. That's Daryl Morey, Rockets general manager. Kind enough to call in.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.